There are older, fouler things than orcs dwelling in the depths beneath the world's edge mountains. Far below the secure holds of the Dawi and winding caves of Nightgrobian Skaven, an entire aberrant ecosystem has sprung up, populated by weird, terrifying creatures that can be found nowhere else in the world. Large, colorless fungoid slugs wander through ancient caverns, while escaped Skaven experiments and chaos mutants hunt for their next victims. At the top of this unique food chain is the Shard Dragon, a titanic, serpentine creature of immense ferocity and power. The very sight of a Shard Dragon is enough to instill panic in the heart of even the most stalwart warrior. The beasts possess the long, sinuous lower body of a snake, but their forequarters boast two powerful arms, tipped with sickle-like talons. Their maw is a nightmare made flesh, every bit as deep and hungry as the void beneath the earth itself. Some specimens leak poison from their jaws, the venom so potent that the ground cracks and burns at its touch. These impressive armaments have let shard dragons fight entire armies and win, feasting on the fools who sought to face such a beast. Despite their ungainly form and immense bulk, shard dragons can still move quickly and quietly, descending upon unsuspecting prey with unnerving speed. Their ability to scale walls and cliff faces as if they were flat ground allows a shard dragon to set up ambushes normally impossible for such a large, flightless predator. If a shard dragon's victim is lucky enough to survive the first salvo of attacks, they will find the creature almost impossible to successfully injure. Its scales are as thick as a Bastiladon's, and only the strongest of foes can even hope to pierce it. As their scales grow thicker and tougher with age, an older shard dragon is even better defended. The eldest among their number have hides as durable as thick foot plates of Gromrel. As if that wasn't enough, a warrior unfortunate enough to strike the beast, but unable to quickly pierce its hide, shatters off some of its scales instead. These razor-sharp scales fly off, cutting through the attacker's flesh and armor like tissue paper. This bizarre defensive mechanism is how the Shard Dragon got its name, as well as its fearsome reputation. It is not just their terrible natural weaponry or unparalleled defensive capabilities that make Shard Dragons the most dangerous creatures in the subterranean world. Their ferocity is unmatched, save perhaps by the legendarily quarrelsome Carnosaurs of Lustria, and their hatred only burns hotter when injured. Shard Dragons' stubborn fighting spirits and incredible aggression has given them a dreadful reputation among the Dawi and Skaven, as many patrols have been lost to their hunger or spite. Entire holds and cities can be destroyed or seriously mangled if a Shard Dragon burrows into them, the monster glutting itself on flesh before leaving once more. It is for good reason that there are many entries in the Daemons, or Great Book of Grudges, against these beasts. Despite their name, shard dragons are not true dragons. They lack the wings of their terrestrial cousins, though they are every bit as strong and hardy as even the eldest star dragons. Nor can they breathe fire, though some specimens can exhale a soul-quenching terror that can quietly freeze an opponent's heart. Scholars theorize that shard dragons were once true dragons that migrated underground, perhaps in response to the Great Catastrophe, when chaos burst forth into the world for the first time. If so, they have devolved in response to living underground, becoming twisted and empowered by the powers deep beneath the earth. While the Dawi rightfully hate rogue shard dragons, viewing them as dangerous, unreliable nuisances, the Dwarfs are also the only race capable of turning them into controlled beasts of war. Long ago, great runesmiths forged runic collars and placed them on a number of shard dragons. Not only do these collars give the Dwarfs control over these creatures, letting them unleash a shard dragon's fury against their foes, but they also make a shard dragon remarkably resilient to magical attacks. While these powerful runic items are not terribly common, some can still be found in the workshops of renowned runesmiths or the treasuries of mighty kings. If someone could somehow get a hold of a shard dragon and put one on them, they would conceivably control one of the most dangerous creatures in the Warhammer world. As the community is always happy to let you know, shard dragons are not currently in Total War Warhammer. If we're ever fortunate enough to see them in the video game, they'll likely be a heavily armored monstrous unit with lots of armor-piercing damage and poison attacks on the Dwarf roster. I also hope that they have a Mortis Engine effect to represent their scales flaking off and cutting their opponents. If CA really wants to do Shard Dragons justice, they'll also give them a breath weapon to represent their nightmare-inducing breath attack, and physical resistance to represent their Gromrel strong scales. They wouldn't be all that fast, as Shard Dragons in the lore don't move much faster than the average human, but they would still outpace everything but gyrocopters on the Dwarf roster. Functionally, they'd probably act as much more durable Hydras that wear down large blocks of infantry with damage over time. Nothing too game-breaking. That brings us to the end of our overview of Shard Dragons. I'm counting this as a Dwarf video, so I have kept my oath to upload some Dwarf content before December ends. I'll not be remembered as an Umbaraki, or Oathbreaker. Hopefully this keeps the Longbeards content until I can secure more Dwarf books, whenever that may be. This is also my last video of 2022, and I just wanted to take the time to thank everyone who's been listening to the stuff I've been putting out for the past 3 months. It's been a blast, and I plan to release much more in the months and hopefully years to come. That being said, don't expect any new videos next week. The holidays aren't exactly great for video production. I'll see you again in the second week of January, where I can start the new year off properly. Until next time, this has been Sigmar's Chosen, signing off for now.